Welcome to the next video in our Beltane series, presented by myself, Leslie, the Metaphysical Crone from Innerji, and the lovely Mish from Twisted by Mish. It's a collaboration that we are working on for the first time, and we're going to continue to do this for each of the Sabbats, and also we're going to pop in and do other things that we can share with you as well. Things like little mini readings in our groups, all sorts of information. But it's just lovely to be working with such a good teammate. So today's video is going to be about creating a crystal grid for Beltane. So I'm going to show you the crystals that I've chosen and why I've chosen them. But the thing is that if you don't have these crystals and you would like to create your own crystal grid, have a look at your own crystal collection and see what you might have there already that you could substitute. And remember that clear quartz can be substituted for any other crystal. So let's turn the camera around and create a crystal grid for this wonderful, uniting, joyful, spring-like energy of Beltane. So this is the base that I'm going to be using to create my crystal grid on. Now, you know, you don't have to do anything too fancy. You don't have to go out and buy special gear or anything like that. You can just use, this is actually a placemat. And because it's Beltane and I want to have that earth connection, I'm actually using the cork side of it. Now, before we begin, I'm just going to add some more herbs into my cauldron. My charcoal burner is in there burning. And, you know, for this particular crystal grid, I'm setting the intention of a bit of self-love as well as love for others. That's nice. And as part of the crystal grid, I will be sprinkling some herbs as well, because with the herbs, if you're creating a sacred space with your crystal grid, you can add herbs to it. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let's begin. So I'm going to start off with my centerpiece. So the first crystal I have chosen is a beautiful clear quartz. This is actually a trans-channeling quartz, which means that it's a channeling quartz on one side and a receiver on the other. A channeling quartz on its face has 7 sides. So I'm going to pop that in the middle. And for the majority of the grid, I'm going to be reflecting the colors that are usually chosen for Beltane. So the clear quartz is going to represent the white and also the bringing in of the light. The next crystal I'm going to add is a little tumble. I'm going to use small crystals because not everyone has huge crystals like this in their collection. So I want to make this as accessible to you as possible. So the next one I've chosen to represent the earth element and the feminine element is chrysocolla. Chrysocolla is equated to goddess energy. And when I look at chrysocolla, you know, I do see like the oceans, and it just looks like earth from space to me. So I'm going to put that on that side on the left. The next crystal I've chosen is a beautiful sunstone, a natural sunstone that's been tumbled. And this is going to bring joy and warmth, and it represents the energy of the sun. So another way of looking at both of these crystals is that one will be used to represent the goddess. The other will be used to represent the god coming into union with the light. Then the next one I've chosen, red, is another color that we use at Beltane. Red is for passion, it's for grounding, it's for that earthiness. So, you know, bringing passion into Beltane is a good energy because Beltane is a fire festival. And of course, it's also the festival where the time where traditionally hand fasting or weddings would occur. And so we bring in some jasper. So I have 2 pieces of red jasper that I'm going to place here, down towards the bottom of my grid, bringing in that passion for life, passion for my significant other, passion for oneself, you know, the passions that you have in life, not just about romantic passions, but passions about what you love to do. You may be passionate about your work. You may be passionate about a hobby or a project that you're working on or want to begin. So bringing in that passion energy and also grounding it, because red jasper equates to the base chakra, and the base chakra is about being physically here on the planet. The next one I've chosen is green aventurine. Green aventurine is a stone of abundance, and we're looking at bringing in abundance in whatever that means for you. So Beltane is like planting the seeds to grow abundance. And the colour green is about growth. And this is another colour that is traditionally used at Beltane. So that's why I've chosen the green aventurine. The next one that I have chosen is a lovely little rose quartz heart. This is a beautiful one. It's quite in gemmy rose quartz. And this is to bring in the love in all its forms, the nurturing. So I'm going to pop the clear quartz between the growth of and abundance of my aventurine and my centerpiece of the clear quartz, which also acts as an amplifier for the entire grid. And then the next one I'm going to bring in 2 citrine crystals, because yellow or gold is another color associated with Beltane, I should say. And citrine is also a crystal for abundance as well. The other reason I personally like citrine, it also helps us to stand in our own power, to have confidence, and to boost our self-esteem. So that is why I have chosen those 2. So I'm just going to rearrange before I do my linking with clear quartz. And what I'm doing with this particular shape is, because Beltane is about fertility and new beginnings, new intentions, I'm kind of shaping this into the shape of an egg. And I might even put an egg at the top. This is Amazonite, beautiful green Amazonite. And I'll just hold that up so you can actually see the egg shape. So my crystal grid is going to reflect the shape of the egg, where new life is gestating, ready to be born. And then to connect my grid, I'm going to add some clear quartz crystals, some clear quartz points. So I'm going to connect between each of the crystals that I have chosen. Actually, I think I prefer to do that one there. That one there. You just get a feel for it. Just use your intuition on this. And because we live in Australia, when I want to bring something to me, bring something in, I am more inclined to work in an anti-clockwise direction rather than a clockwise direction. Why? Because I follow the path of the sun. Here in Australia, the sun, when we look up in the sky, appears to move in an anti-clockwise direction, whereas in the northern hemisphere, when you look up at the sun, it appears to move in a clockwise direction. So the old-fashioned terms, if I'm pronouncing these correctly, of Deosil and Widdershins isn't meaning clockwise and anti-clockwise. It actually means going with the direction and the path of the sun. So hence me having an anti-clockwise direction to bring something into me. So I'll just add more of these. Oops, let's point them in the right direction, Leslie. And we'll put one there. And then up where my amethyst egg is, I'm just going to move that back a little bit. Oops. And I'm going to put one there. Let's see if we can get the egg to stay, to bring it down. And I think I just want one more to link my heart to the green amethyst. So that is my very loose shaping of an egg. Now I haven't activated my grid yet, so if I wanted to move things around, I still can. So I might bring that in and bring that a little bit closer. So when you're choosing a design for your crystal grid. Most of the time I don't have a predetermined design because I was thinking about Beltane and new intentions and new beginnings and growth and seeding and birth and all that kind of thing. That's what made me think of the shape of the egg. But lots of times when I'm creating crystal grids, I just follow my intuition at the time. So I encourage you to trust your intuition when you are creating your crystal grid. Let's add a little bit more of the herbs to our cauldron because this is bringing in the energy of love to our grid. Now, I chose some herbs that I want to actually include as part of my grid. You know, with herbs, yes, of course, you can build them in the burn them in the cauldron like this, but you can actually just use herbs on their own and sprinkle them through your grid, or you can create shapes with them to create a grid. And then you can charge them. So the first one I'm going to use, I've chosen 4 herbs. Let's bring those into camera for you. So I've chosen 4 herbs, 1 for each of the elements. And I've done a balance with 2 masculine and 2 feminine herbs. So when we sprinkle these herbs, we are blending and uniting them. So the first one I've chosen is Tulsi, which is a masculine polarity. It has the element of fire, and we use it for love and wealth, amongst other things. So I'm just going to sprinkle that inside just a little bit inside my grid. You don't need to use a lot to have an effect. The next one I've chosen is passion flower. I think you can guess what passion flower is for. And this has a feminine polarity. It has the element of water, and it is used for our passion, bringing in some of that Beltane passion. You just sprinkle that, and all the while I'm just setting my intention around the joy, the warmth, the love, the uniting of the god and the goddess for Beltane. The next one I've chosen is red clover. Red clover has a masculine polarity. It has the element of air. So far we've used the fire energy with the Tulsi herb, the water energy with the passion flower, and now we're choosing the element of air. And this is for success, fidelity, luck, and prosperity. All those positive things. And the final herb that I've chosen is oat straw. Oat straw is a feminine polarity, and it has the element of earth. So that's going to be grounding this grid so that we can actually bring all of this energy, all of this Beltane manifestation, and whatever intention you want to set as you build the grid, bringing it into manifestation on the earth in a practical way. So oat straw, feminine polarity, earth, wonderful for fertility, money, nourishment, and healing. So we'll sprinkle some of those. I personally, when I do my crystal grids and I incorporate herbs for magical purposes, I like to keep them within my grid. So there you have it. So now that I have created the grid, and I just like to move them around a little bit so they're nicely spread out. So now that I have the grid, I am going to charge it. In other words, I'm going to wake it up and activate it. So for this, today, I'm going to use a clear quartz wand. So I will just go through my process when I'm activating the grid, but you know, you can find your own way of doing it. So here we go. Obviously, I don't talk when I'm activating a grid generally, but because I'm demonstrating this for you, I will talk you through it. So I usually start at the center of my grid, and I set my intention for what I want this grid to be for me, what I want it to represent, what I want it to do. And as I'm thinking about that, I draw down the healing light. I usually envisage a golden light or a white light coming from the center of universe, from the source of all that it is. If you have a particular deity you like to use, you could call that energy in, or you could just call in the energy of the god and goddess united. And you visualize this light coming down through your wand into the clear quartz crystal. Then I start to move. I take it up through the clear quartz connector to my Amazonite egg. And I visualize my intention almost being encased in this egg, getting ready to crack open to bring it into new life. And then I come down through the connecting clear quartz back to my amplifier, and I come down to my rose quartz heart. And here I'm bringing my intention in with love. Love for myself, love for my others, love in all its forms, bringing that into being, activating it in the grid. And then I come back down to my connector crystal, which is my clear quartz again. And then I come down to my green aventurine and setting the intention there that my intention will be abundant and it will grow. It will grow in abundance for me. And then I come back to my center point. And then I go back up to my Amazonite. And now I link my egg-shaped grid. So I come down because I'm going anti-clockwise to bring the energy to me. And so I'm connecting the Amazonite to the citrine for abundance, confidence, self-esteem, standing in my own power. Going past, joining the connecting clear quartz to the sunstone, representing the god and sun energy, bringing that strength, bringing that warmth, bringing that joy. I then continue drawing the energy from the center of the universe down to my red jasper, bringing in that passion for life, bringing in that passion for whatever this intention for this grid is about. And then I come back down and connect it to my green aventurine of abundance and growth. And then I connect back to the red jasper on the other side for balance, bringing in more of that passion for what I do, for what I want to do, for what I want to bring in. And then I come up and connect to the earth or goddess energy, grounding, nurturing, assisting with manifestation. And then going back to the citrine here, again, bringing in abundance, confidence, standing in my own power. And then I come back to the Amazonite. So I don't stop at each point for very long. So what I will do, I'll just do a demonstration of how I create the flow. I have the intention in my mind while I do this. And then I come back to my center point. I am a person who will say out loud, it is done, or so mote it be. You might have your own way of doing it. But now I have activated the grid. It is active for me, so I can use it as a point for gazing meditation. So I can sit down and do contemplation with it on my intention. I can do some meditation with it, or I can simply gaze at it because it's so lovely. You know, crystals are so visually beautiful. And to finish it off, let's add a little bit more of the self-love herb into the cauldron. Now, other things that you can add, if you're actually sitting with your grid, you can add some burning incense like I have in my cauldron, or you might like to add candles in the colors that represent the Beltane season in this case. And so what I could do is I could have a little candle holder. I don't have one with me at the moment, but I could put the candles around my grid in candle holders, keep them safe. Just realized that one's not in camera. Bring that one in closer. And I'll just adjust the angle a fraction. There you go, so you can see. But I will have my candles in place as well. And then when I am doing a gazing meditation in particular, there we go, that's better, isn't it? You can just see the edge of the green. That's the green candle down there. So when I'm doing my meditation, if I'm doing meditation with candles like this, as a safety precaution, I usually meditate with my eyes open and I gaze. And the flickering light of the candles in the dark when you do this really adds a beautiful, magical ambience, a beautiful atmosphere to help you with your gazing meditation. There you have it, how to create your own crystal grid for Beltane. And remember, as I said before, make sure you trust your own intuition when you're doing this. You don't have to follow it exactly as I do. You might prefer a circle rather than an egg shape, but trust yourself. It's intuition, and doing this type of work is about learning to trust yourself. Now, a little bit more about what's coming up. My next video is going to be a meditation or a creative visualization, and I will be taking you on a Beltane journey, so watch out for that. Now, the lovely Mish from Twisted by Mish has got some more videos coming up as well. She is going to be doing one on a Beltane cake, and she has an amazing family tradition around this cake and its recipe. I'm not going to tell you all about it. I will just leave you in suspense until she actually puts it up. And I think she's going to be doing another one on one of her crystal twistations, or a twistation for the maple. I can't remember which it's going to be. I think she's going to surprise me with that one. And then the final video, unless we decide to put up a few sneaky extra ones, but the final video will actually post on the 31st of October, and it will be a reading for the actual Beltane season, not just setting intentions, but a reading for the energies of Beltane itself. And just a reminder about the dates. The traditional dates for Beltane here in the Southern Hemisphere are the 31st to the 1st of November. And of course, the reason for that is in ancient Celtic times, daytime started, or the day began at sunset, not sunrise. So it would go from sunset to the next sunrise, hence the 2 dates. Astrologically, the Beltane season is exact at 15 degrees Scorpio, and that occurs on the 7th of November. So I personally, because I do astrology, I am more inclined to use the astrological date than the traditional dates, but you can use what you feel. And as Mish has said, and I have said previously, it's not just one date and suddenly it's done. Beltane is a season, because one season flows from one into the other. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Now, if you haven't joined any of our private groups, I will leave the details in the comment section below, or in the description section below, I should say. But they are, for my group, it's Innerji, Tarot and Metaphysical group. This is on Facebook. And Mish's Facebook group is Twisted by Mish, Familie, which is Famile. Yes, we both chose names that were difficult to pronounce and spell, but they have personal meaning to us, so that's why we've chosen them. And of course, our Facebook pages is Innerji and Mish's Facebook page is Twisted by Mish. So we encourage you to follow us. And we also have YouTube channels. So I have my Innerji, the Metaphysical Crone YouTube channel, and Mish has her Twisted by Mish YouTube channel. So I encourage you to come and subscribe to those YouTube channels as well, because there'll be lots of goodies going up there too. I do hope you've enjoyed creating this crystal grid tutorial for Beltane, and I look forward to seeing you in our next videos.